Hi everyone, so today I want to talk to you about the importance of sleep for reducing inflammation. So why do we sleep? Sleep is another vitally important process in our bodies. It allows our nerve cells in the brain to recharge and to repair, and it lets the body replenish energy lost during the day and to heal itself. And while we go through sleep, we go through something called metabolic regeneration as well. So it's really important for our metabolism and for fat burning. So this hormone called the human growth hormone is released, but only during deep sleep, which is vital, say, for metabolism, for fat burning, and for healing as well. So how does poor sleep cause inflammation? What happens if we're not getting all of that? Our sleep is regulated by circadian rhythms, which derive hormones and other physiological changes. So during the day, on this 24-hour rhythm, your body will follow a routine of hormones and chemicals that it releases and things that it does, so that you operate on a day, which is why we get jet lag and things like that, because we suddenly change the times and all of the wrong chemicals being produced at the wrong times. We feel sleepy when we should be up, we can't sleep when we should be sleeping because our body tells us to be awake. That's why it causes so much trouble. And disruption to our sleep and to these rhythms disturbs normal immune function and therefore puts us at risk of inflammation. In fact, studies have shown that it takes, in just one night, we can have an increase in inflammation markers in women. So just one poor night's sleep can increase your inflammation. And somewhat annoyingly, this isn't the case in men. So this is just something that is a problem for us women particularly. Obviously, over a few nights, it does start to affect men as well. But they can get away with it slightly more in the short term. So insufficient sleep also changes our gut microbiome, which is interesting, and that can cause what tends to cause an imbalance. So you tend to get more of the unbeneficial bacteria, and the good ones, the beneficial bacteria, the ones that help us digest our food and get vitamins and things out of it and give us other vitamins and minerals themselves. They tend to decline if we keep, over time, as we get less asleep or as our sleep is continuously disrupted. And our bacteria in our gut microbiome has a huge impact on the health of our gut. So if our gut isn't healthy and the gut lining gets damaged, that can lead to inflammation within the gut itself. So you can get irritable bowel syndromes and that sort of thing. But also over the long term, it can lead to this leaky gut syndrome where the gut lining becomes permeable, food particles can get through, and that causes an inflammatory response, which is widespread then throughout the body. The other thing that can happen to us is that when we sleep poorly, we produce more of a hormone called ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. So that will prompt us to feel like we're hungry when we haven't slept properly. And we produce less leptin, which is the other side, the converse hormone, which makes us feel full and satiated. Whereas if we sleep well, we get more leptin produced and we feel less hungry and less ghrelin. So when we mess up our sleep or we don't sleep properly, we are much more likely to feel hungry, and in that hunger and tiredness, we're much more likely to reach for the quick impact, the sugary foods. And so we make poor diet choices, and in doing that, in eating the wrong foods, that also can increase our levels of inflammation, as we've seen in previous videos. So it's really important for us that we get proper sleep. So how much sleep do we need? Around about 7 to 9 hours is the guideline amount, but what's important is actually not necessarily the time that you spend asleep, it's the time in deep sleep, which is very hard obviously to measure. You might know you slept from X to Y, but it's very hard to know how much that you're in proper deep sleep. And it's also worth being aware that having more than 9 hours can lead to more inflammation as well. So it's not just about not getting enough sleep, getting too much sleep can cause problems too. So what is the impact of stress on sleep? So we talked about stress in a previous video, and that it links to, it increases inflammation because it affects sleep negatively. And if we think about what stress does to us, it elicits this fight or flight response where we're suddenly, we've got more blood glucose, our muscles are prepped and ready to run and to go. And obviously in that sort of pumped up feeling, sleep isn't going to be the most, you can see that's not the way that we're going to sleep. We need to be in the relaxation response, not the fight or flight response, to be able to sleep properly. And that's so what we end up being is more tired. We're more likely to be stressed when we're tired because we find things hard to deal with when we're tired. But then that stress makes us sleep more poorly, which makes us more tired, and we get into this vicious circle, unfortunately. So how can we improve our sleep? There's a few things that we can do. A lot of people struggle with sleep these days in this day and age. We can maintain a consistent routine, and a lot of us are not good with this. So our bodies really thrive on consistency. They want to keep that clock, that circadian rhythm really regular. So go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. So all of this going to bed late on Friday, Saturday because it's a weekend, getting up late, just because you're still getting your 8 hours sleep, you are disturbing your body's rhythms and you're making it harder for them to get into this really set pattern. So it's actually better to, even if you have a late night, still get up at the same time and try and keep it as regular as possible. In fact, even if you get a late night, don't sleep in. Have a nap in the day if you're really too tired to get through the day. It's actually better for your sleep patterns that way, apparently. So yeah, even varying your bedtimes by an hour can be detrimental. With talking, proper go to bed at whatever 10:30 and you get up at 6:30, 7. Set it, make it the same every day. And you should pick a bedtime when you sort of normally feel naturally tired. So you might as well go with your, current rhythms. So when your body tells you you're tired, it's time for bed, that's probably your natural bedtime. And then if you're getting enough sleep, you should naturally wake up after 7 to 9 hours, and you shouldn't need an alarm, and you should start to wake up at the same time every day if you're getting the right sleep. If you need an alarm, in theory you need an earlier bedtime because you haven't had enough, or it wasn't good quality sleep. We hear this a lot at the moment, blue light, avoiding blue light before bed and how it disrupts sleep. So trying to get off your phone, not being on your laptop, reading a book on a backlit tablet rather than like a Kindle or something that's a bit more naturally lit. This can all have a really bad effect on our sleep because it impacts on our melatonin levels, and it prevents our ability to produce these deep sleep hormones. So try to avoid them in the hours before bed, or sometimes you can get like a blue light filter to go over it, and there's apparently also apps and some software that you can download that changes the light, or you can reduce the brightness of the screens. There are things you can do, but it's worth trying to manage it if you really can't think of things to do in the evening that aren't screen related. Try and get into this relaxed state. So we need to try and move ourselves out of this stress state. So if you've ended the day stressed, if you're still stressed, in the evening you need to try and move yourself into this relaxation state. So try doing some of the things I talked about in the stress video. Try journaling to get rid of negative thoughts. Try writing to-do lists down to try and get things out of your head until you know they're dealt with tomorrow. Allow yourself to deal with them tomorrow. Even just saying to yourself, I don't need to do these now, I've written it down, I'll deal with it tomorrow, can help you to just not think about it while you sleep. Try and relax yourself. Some people find like an evening bath or scented, aromatherapy, listening to an audiobook, listening to music, reading. These are all things that we can find quite relaxing. Sometimes we can find things like TV quite stimulating, and it's not always the best thing to do before bed. Try deep breathing. When you get into bed, just try deep breathing while you're in bed, relaxing all your muscles. Trying to really, really put yourself into that relaxed state. Exercise comes up everywhere. It's apparently good for insomnia if you exercise regularly, and it can increase the amount of time that you spend in this healing deep sleep. Even just 10 minutes a day, or just 10 minutes a day, can help you to sleep better at night. Although if you've done vigorous exercise, you see better benefits. So if you're really having trouble sleeping, get out every day and do some proper exercise. It can apparently take several months of this to really kind of see the full benefits. So stick with it. Just after you're not sleeping better after a few days of exercise, stick with it. Give your body the time to figure this out. But at least by doing the exercise, you're helping it. Exercise also speeds up metabolism though, so we need to be a little bit aware that, especially if you have trouble sleeping, don't do some crazy HIIT workout or something like that in the evening within 3 hours of going to bed, because it stimulates your metabolism and it gets your body going and not into this relaxed state. Whereas yoga and those sorts of exercises, they can be very relaxing, and therefore they're great to do before bed, a bit of yoga or a bit of stretching. Manage your melatonin. So that's what some of these other things have been about as well. So this hormone, I thought was worth mentioning, is really what helps you to manage your sleep-wake cycle. And it's the melatonin levels building up as part of your circadian rhythm in the evening that make you feel tired and sleepy and want to go to bed. And then these levels should decrease by the morning, so when you wake up, you no longer want to sleep and you want to get up. So to optimise the way our melatonin is working, we need to expose ourselves to light in the morning and throughout the day. So we're clearly saying to our bodies, during the day, this period, I don't want melatonin, I'm awake here. And then as we start to move towards wanting to sleep, we need to make sure that we are, getting more in the dark. So avoiding these bright screens with the blue light, which are really bad for melatonin. And so there's things you can do: smaller screens, adjust the brightness, software to reduce the blue light, etc., or do something different. So spend the evening maybe dark on the room a bit. Certainly sleep in a really dark room. And if you get up at night, keep it dark. So the light stimulates that it's daytime, the dark simulates that it's very nearly time to go to bed or time to be asleep. And that will really help your body to know what it should be doing. Food and drink can have an impact. So stimulants, some people like myself, I can't have caffeine after like midday, or I don't sleep, I just can't sleep. And so some people can have 10 to 12 hour impact of caffeine. Some people can drink it, and usually if you drink it quite regularly, you get more used to it and you have less effects. I don't drink tea or coffee, so when I do it, it obviously affects me more. So be careful of your caffeine if you're not sleeping well. Nicotine can have the same effect, so it's a stimulant, so it can stop you from being able to sleep and rest properly. Sugary foods, high GL foods, they can trigger wakefulness at night, not just before bed, but even eating during the day. So it's another reason to try and cut down on your sugars and refined carbohydrates. Avoid eating big meals late, and your body has to sort of get going to digest that, and it can lead to poor digestion and less comfort. So try not to eat a big meal within 2 hours of bed. If you are the sort of person who gets home from work late, try and have something lighter, and maybe have almost like 2 dinners, have 2 smaller meals for dinner, one earlier that you take with you and one later when you get in, rather than coming in and having a big dinner and then going to bed within an hour. And don't drink too much in the evening, or you may end up going to the loo quite a lot in the night. So that's some tips there for improving our sleep, and some reasons as to why we should try to improve our sleep and why sleep is so important to us. I hope that was useful. Thank you for listening, and I will speak soon.